Getting. All right, there it is. So what's been going on, Curtis?
Just staying busy.
Dude, you're crushing over there, man. You got like
Oh no.
tons of stuff going on, man. How many duplexes are you gonna finish off for 2025?
2025, we should have, we measure everything in doors, not duplexes. 57 doors.
Good Lord.
That works out to be, we have,
Nothing too crazy, you know.
we got 68, we got 68 of them in some form of replat, permitting,
Yeah.
or some form of, the city's killing me on replats. Man, they're crazy.
Yeah. What are they making a little bit challenging for you? What's going on with those guys?
Right now I just finished one, two, finished the second simple duplex, just taking one lot, splitting it in half, simple stuff. I'm on my third simple one, and they're asking me just all kinds of weird, or not me, the a surveyor, asking them all kinds of utility questions they've never asked before. So we're gonna have to get a hold of the city tomorrow and find out what's going on at this stage. Why are you wearing me out over utilities? And I've already got some approvals on water and sewer anyway. It's just somebody
Yeah.
somebody new in the process and stuff. But we have two larger replats that are in the process. A seven duplex subdivision, little subdivision, and a 13 duplex little subdivision.
How long are they gonna be taking to do the replat for those?
We got to drop a on the seven one. We got to drop a road and put a sewer and water line in, and that's probably going to take. I started it probably 60, 90 days ago, and I probably won't break ground until after the first of the year.
Oh wow, so like 6 months.
Yeah, I'll get my plat finished. Hopefully, the plat will be approved by middle of October, and then I got to start the engineering. So the engineering will probably be finished up the first or second week of December, and then we'll wait till right after the first of the year, and I'll finish up financing and start the horizontal work.
Cool. Man, that's cool. Man, I'm really interested in hearing what you guys end up doing for the road. I've looked into trying to build a road, man, and it was quite the project. It was not it's
This
not as simple as people think, right? Because you have to do the gutters.
this one's going to be a ribbon curb, 12-inch ribbon curb, and it'll probably be I don't know the exact cross section, but 4 to 6 inch asphalt. And the road's 220 feet long, 230 feet.
Nice.
I remember exactly. The other one's going to have a 50-foot right of way, probably a 40-foot road.
Okay. Cool, man. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Very, very cool. All right, guys. So I think we got pretty much everybody in that's going to be in. Tunde, what's up, man? T, what's going on? Good to see you guys. Let me go ahead and share my screen here so I can show you guys what we got going on today. Let me see here. How do I do that? Share. And we are going to go share Google Chrome. All right. Are you guys able to see that?
Yes, sir.
All righty. All right, cool, good to go. Let's go ahead and get started here, guys. Here's what we got. Let me start here at the very top. So one of the things that we've been doing as I go through this entire thing that we're doing on a weekly basis is give you guys just an idea of how the whole entire process goes and just breaking it down in bite-sized chunks so it doesn't feel super overwhelming for you. So uh, in the first week, whenever we first started here, we were talking about, why duplex building and why now. We did all the numbers on that stuff. We talked a lot about, margin math and basically how that affects um, the decision on what you're going to be building, right? Versus the duplex, because the duplex margin math is a lot better. You have double the rents. It's easier to do the refinance. All that stuff is a lot easier. And then, of course, we covered the week to week schedule, like the breakdown of the week to week. And I went ahead and extended that for 6 months just to kind of get you guys to like just not get super overwhelmed with the process. Okay, I know we're trying to build a little bit faster, but it can be essentially just broken down a little bit easier for you guys. Week two, we talked about the myths of being a general contractor, that you don't necessarily need to have that experience base or actually be a general contractor. We talked about the lot dimensions during the plan, build, and exit. Minimum lot dimensions. We had a little 90-day action plan that I thought was pretty good for you guys to put into play. So here's what we're going to try to do by the end of tonight. Okay, I want you guys to know exactly how to define your buy box. I've gotten a lot of questions from different people. It's like, how do you know specifically? I'm looking at lots. Where do I go and why? Why are you going to those specific locations and how do you research all that stuff? So that will be really what we're going to be focusing on, is going to be the buy box, so you can filter out any opportunities, right, very quickly and stop wasting time with some of the stuff that you don't really need to be buying. So, what do you guys think? This is what I want you to think. Like, what part of this kind of feels the hardest for you in terms of a buy box? So, just put in the comment sections real quick. What part of the buy box feels the hardest for you? Is it the location? Is it the product? Is it the price? Like, what do you guys need help with specifically to kind of get you a little bit more comfortable with figuring out what you're going to do for location, price, and product? Hmm. Where's the chat on this thing? Show chat. All right. I don't know why this thing is not working for me. Bah. All right. So okay, so T saying comparable price for the location. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, we have to take a look at what other lots are selling for and what we're trying to accomplish as far as like what we want to pay for it. So one of the big rules that I've given you guys has been like try to stay under $50,000, right? So I'm going to show you a couple of lots that we just put under contract here in Conroe. We're going to pay like $37,000 a piece. It's actually not bad. Let's get into this real quick. So the three things that we want to take a look at is going to be the location, the price, and the product and the price. So we'll do a quick walkthrough. I want to show you guys this 410 South 12th Street Conroe property that we just put under contract. The neighborhood itself is going to end up being 80% of the success. And the reason why I say it's 80% of success, because it does take into consideration like some of the stuff that you're doing yourself. Now, when it comes to you actually, doing the research, you have to have access to the MLS. If you don't have access to the MLS, guys, I'm really, really sorry. And I hate to be the guy to deliver the bad news, but you're trying to do real estate with a crutch. It's not going to work out for you. So you have to have access to the MLS. You have to be able to get into this members only area. You can get a free HAR.com for Houston Association of Realtors. You can get a free account. But if you need to get the data, the information that we're going to be looking for here on Matrix MLS, you have to have access. So how do you do it? How do you get people to give you access? You can become an assistant to another real estate agent. You can become a real estate agent yourself. You can try to figure out a way to pay for the service, but you need to have access to this particular data on a regular basis. That's all I'm going to say on that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go search, and we're going to be searching quick lots. When we search quick lots, I always want to do active, option pending, pending, and sold. 180 days is the automatic there. I try to stick pretty close, but lots are not very common, so I end up making it a little bit bigger. Okay, we want to do something. Uh, this is the address that I was just looking at. And so we want to do something within about a half a mile, maybe a mile, whatever the case is. If there's too many, you see how there's already 11 matches. We can make it a little bit tighter and see how many matches show up. There's 4 matches at a quarter mile. So let's take a look at that real quick and see what results come up out of that. So on here, it looks like there's 3 actives and there is one that's pending. Sorry about that. So can you guys see that? All right. So it looks like there's 3 active and one that's pending. So I'm looking at this one that's pending here because it's 11,048 square feet and it's at $31,000, 31.5, and it's been on the market for 49 days. There's got to be something wrong with that. And one of the issues that I can already tell you is probably going to be in the flood zone. And that's why nobody wants to buy it. But the legal description here doesn't say anything else. Shepherd, Sydney. So we're looking at this stuff here. So look, 49 out of 761 days. So what this tells me right here is that this lot has been on the market for a very long time and nobody's wanted to buy it for whatever reason. I think it's going to be in the flood zone. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys some websites that you can go and look up some of that stuff. So, and the only thing that I'll tell you about lots that are going to be in the flood zone, if you're starting out and it's your first time doing new construction, I would stay away from that at all completely. Just don't even mess with it. It's going to be more of a problem for you now. Someone that has a lot more experience might be okay with it. You have to build it up. You can either, build it on a pier and beam foundation and bring it up 5 feet or however many feet they want you to do it, or you just build it up with dirt and then it has to have a specially engineered foundation. So I personally wouldn't do it if it's my first time. Let's go back over here to agent single line. And then it looks like we have these ones here for 22,500. This one's
And I think
6,050.
I looked at that 12th Street one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's one that actually you and I both looked at a while ago, and there were some issues, but I can't remember for sure. It just looks very familiar.
Yeah. So let's look at it real quick. Robertson block 1 and 2. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So you know what? Let's go ahead and just jump over to the FEMA flood map real quick because I think it's going to get you guys to see kind of where we're at with this stuff. So here, the red dot is the ones that we're trying to buy. And so let's go over here. I'm going to open up another window here. We're just going to go to FEMA flood maps. Just Google search it and then it'll show up here. And this is good for Texas. And I'm going to put the address of the one that I'm looking at. So it gives me an actual specific dot of where we are because the other one just had 0. And so if we look here, you start zooming in. Yeah, you see, let's go ahead and change this so that you see just the roads, streets. Yeah. I mean, it's close. Let's look at the map real quick again. Let's close this up
Now that I
and
think
zoom.
about, I think this is the one that you were saying it would be hard to get in or get it out if it started to flood or something like that.
Yeah. So it's this one here, 0 South 12th Street. That is deep into the water, isn't it? Yeah, it's deep in the water. It's right here. Is that matching what you guys are seeing?
Yeah.
So South 12th Street, it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties down. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna zoom in just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's gonna be right. That's a bit much, man. You know what I mean? I would stay away from that. I personally, with my experience, would not even mess with that. It's just way too much. It's too much of a headache, man. And this zone AE that's got the little, candy cane looking things here, this is like specialty engineer, specialty permit. It's not even worth the effort, man. So that's why we didn't want to look at that. We didn't want to go with that one. That was just not going to work out. So let's go back over to results. And let's go to the next one. Let's go to agent single line display because we're looking at that was the 0 South 12th Street. It's been on the market 106 days for 22,000. Nobody wants it. 400 South 13th Street. So all these ones that are on South, looks like these are the ones that are really deep in there, man. So anyway, that's one of the things. I don't want to spend too much time just looking into the flood maps because you guys just basically understand, like you can go to the FEMA flood map and kind of figure out where this particular lot is in terms of like, is it going to be dangerous to build on or not? The ones that we were looking at were going to be South 12th Street. What was it? 400. Let me punch it back in, search. And this one is not. And so the lender is also going to be asking you guys, hey, is that particular lot in the flood zone or not? So you have to be able to answer that question. All right, let me get back over here real quick. So one of the other things that we have to look at as well is going to be this different zip codes in terms of like different, days on market. So let's go ahead and jump in the same thing where we're at here at the, we're going to go over here back to criteria, but instead of searching for just vacant lots, we're going to be searching uh, multifamily, quick multifamily. Okay. And so we're going to go option pending. and sold. And we're going to expand this search a little bit wider because I know that it's going to be a little bit bigger. We have 5 multifamily. And then what we're going to do is do new construction. Yes. That brings it down to 2 results. And that's within 1 mile. I've had appraisers go out as far as like 2 and 3 miles when it comes to, looking for duplexes. All right. So, okay. So now we have 3. So this is the crazy part about doing the research when it comes to this stuff. And this is the stuff that I personally do. So right now I'm looking at this 400, what is it? 410, 12th Street property. I'm doing the research for my own property right now as I talk to you guys. I've done a little bit before already, but this is basically what I'm looking at. So look at this 206 South 4th Street property. We looked at this one, T. This one's pretty cool. There's a couple of things that I don't like about this one, and I'm going to point these out to you guys so that you can get an idea. The person that built this was going for something that looks spectacular and great. Like I get it, but like it doesn't necessarily bring you more money. This particular duplex, in my opinion, they saw that $420,000 sold comp and they're like, ooh, we can get 420. Look, they went with 425. And it's been on the market for 151 days and it hasn't sold. There is a comp out here in Conroe that sold for 420, but that was when the interest rates were just a little bit nicer. And so now they have had to come down $50,000. And finally, it is option pending. Finally. Okay. Now, $50,000 on a build and flip or build and sell is a big amount of money. Okay. This is going to impact their bottom line significantly. And so, so one of the things that I try to get you guys to understand is at the beginning as well is like, hey, decide kind of like early on if you're going to just build to sell or you're going to build to rent. Because if you're going to build to rent, like, yeah, it's great and nice and everything, but like, are you really going to get more rental income for this? I don't think you are. Here's some things that I would not do. The little roof right above the door, yes, I think it's good to have, but you don't have to go with that metal roof. That's just more stuff. The side windows, you guys see these little side windows that they have on the side of the door? I mean, that's fantastic and all, but like that's just too much. Those doors are probably going to be $800, maybe $1,000 each. That's
Hey, one
crazy.
question, couldn't this be a scenario too where maybe they had material from some other build or it didn't cost them as much? Because why else would they invest that much for something?
That's a really good question. Yeah, sometimes those types of things happen where we have leftover material. We want to use them in a particular product in a different unit. But, you know, the good idea fairy, man, I tell you, just pops up in different people's lives at different times. And I tell you
That's
what,
fair.
man, I despise the good idea fairy. Once the plan is in place to build something quickly and efficiently, and the goal
Hmm.
is to make money, all of your decisions need to be surrounding that.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, the color of the door, great. But the extras on the side, like they come in 3 pieces, believe it or not. These,
Oh, okay.
so this one single door comes in 3 pieces. Like you can remove that. Like you don't have to have that.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna show you some of the stuff here that they did that I thought was a little bit much. This driveway, they did too much. They should have left. I would have saved money by leaving some green space in between. That would have been a money saver for me, for sure. Let's see, what else did they do that I would have done differently? Like this, stand that comes out here, like it looks great, but that's, in my opinion, that's wasted money. Okay. Now, this is something else that I do that I think that you guys need to get into the practice of doing as well, is counting the number of cabinets that these people have. I know that seems a little petty, but I promise you, it is not petty. Once you start doing this stuff and you're starting doing, more consistently, you're like, okay, to make it something efficient, let's count the cabinets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cabinets on this backside. 5 cabinets. We have 6. We looks like we have one on the very end there. 6. We have 7. This is a sink and a cabinet combo. That's 7. And then we have 8. This triple one is one cabinet. 9. This top and bottom is one. And 10. 10 cabinets. All right. That corner 401 MLK duplex, that shouldn't have done that. Like I should have figured out a way to make it smaller, but the architect on that thing, that lady was something else, man. We're going with somebody else next time. We we just it has too many cabinets. Like if you've never bought cabinets for houses, and Curtis, I'm sure you can appreciate this comment, man. Like it is just too much, man. Like it's gotten way expensive. Okay, here's another good idea, Ferry, that happened to these people. You see this right here? Normally, this you do this in the bathroom, right? You do this little backsplash. This is a 4-inch backsplash right here that is done, but in rental property, you can do that in the kitchen as well. But if you do that, you're preventing from like food and drinks and water and liquids and stuff from going up there, right? Because this is a kitchen, it's a wet area. So you do that so that the water doesn't go back there. And that's the same reason you do it in the bathroom. But you do that and you do backsplash, that is my opinion, that's overkill. There's no need for that. Either one or the other, but not both.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
we don't do backsplash in rentals. We just
Yeah,
do a 4-inch reveal sticking up like you do in the bathrooms. We just do that in the kitchen and move on.
yeah.
Those
I'm
costs
telling you.
those costs add up.
In the 1980s and 90s, a lot of those houses that are still original, you'll see that all they have is a countertop and then just painted sheetrock up. That's it. This whole backsplash thing is a whole invention from Home Depot to try to sell you guys stuff. We don't need to do all this craziness. We really don't. Okay. As a matter of fact, I need to, preach to myself about that because I know that I've been putting backsplash on some of my stuff, but to try to get the sell, right?
Look at the appliances they have in there.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Back
They're-
up, back up. Thank you. Thank you.
Those
Gas
are
supplies. Yeah. Gas appliances, burners. I mean, those are very nice appliances. General Electric. I mean, you can probably find some deals during like holiday seasons and stuff like that, man, but those are very, very nice quality appliances. I'm telling you, man, tenants don't take care of your stuff, man. They really don't. Um, I do like that they went a little bit less expensive when it comes to the pendant lights. I think that that was good. The doors, the 5-panel doors, there's not a real big significant difference. Here's another point of contention for me. Gold fixtures, they look fantastic. You're spending more money, but there's no reason to spend that money. There really isn't. The difference between a gold fixture and a black matte finish fixture like this one is significant enough if you start doing how many bathrooms you got in the duplex, right? You got 4 bathrooms, 4 tubs, 4 toilets. I mean, all this stuff adds up, man. The light fixtures, even the ones on here as well. I would have removed that window right there as well. I have already started doing that. So anyway, those are some of the things that I look at. I mean, I think it's a really nice one. I'd like to get a copy of this set of plans, but I would remove those doors and some of the other stuff that I showed you guys, really just to save money, make it more efficient. I think the layout is really cool. It looks fantastic, but that's some of the stuff I look at. Okay. Now, um, whenever we're looking at MLS data, guys, I'm telling you, if you've thought maybe like you could get away with like a 2-bedroom duplex or maybe, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath duplex and just make it kind of small to kind of save money, that in my opinion is going to be overkill. You're really narrowing yourself down because if you go with like 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom houses, you're talking about, single like dudes, you know what I mean? Like one person, maybe a couple, like a, husband and wife type situation. That's it. Like you don't have any room for like, families or anything like that. And you really narrowed down the number of people that could potentially rent your property. So this is why we stick to the 3 bedrooms, 2 bath pretty consistently every single time so that we don't have to worry about that stuff. So one of the things that I've, heard people is like, well, there's a lot of apartments going up here in Willis. There's a lot of apartments going up in Conroe. Like, what's the difference? So I created this little thing here just to kind of give you guys a look of what the difference is between a duplex and an apartment. So in a duplex, you have more privacy. You just legitimately do, right? You have your own entrance, you have your own parking spot. In an apartment, it's a lot less privacy. You have your own private outdoor space in a duplex, right? You have your backyard. And in an apartment, if you do have your own private outdoor space, it's super tiny. It's like 5 by 10. It's just really, really small. In a duplex, you have just one shared wall, right? One shared wall all the way across the middle or the back of the unit. And in an apartment, you have more shared walls, right? You can potentially have people on both sides, on top and on bottom. In the duplex, you have private parking. You don't have to worry about that. In an apartment, it's not normally assigned parking. And in an apartment situation, if you park at somebody's house and you're going to be spending the night or something like that, like you have to move your vehicle and make sure it's in a guest parking spot, otherwise you'll get towed. Whenever I was on leave, my mom used to live over there off of 1960 in Houston. I would come, I would stay with my mom, right? Because I wasn't married at the time and I was just, single, whatever, no kids. And I was sitting with my mom, and she's like, "Hey, where did you park?" I'm like, "I just parked in an open spot." She's like, "No, no, no, you got to go park in the guest parking spot, otherwise they're gonna tow you." So here it is. It's like 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night. I'm out there in flip flops trying to go, find another place to park. It's super cold outside. Maybe it's raining. It's super annoying, right? And it's like you got to go down the stairs, down this way, and like go park somewhere else. It's just annoying. But in a duplex, you have your own private parking. In a duplex, it definitely feels a lot less transient than it would be in an apartment complex. Now, my mom was single at the time and she just, it was convenient for her. But at the same time, like apartments just have a lot more turnover when it comes to, the smaller units, just more and more turnover. Duplex, I'll tell you for sure, attract families versus apartments will be attracting, younger people or single people, no kids or families, stuff like that. Duplexes are pet friendly. Not to say apartments are not pet friendly, but in an apartment complex, it's less convenient. In the duplex, if it's like, New Year's Day, right? And like, everybody wakes up late New Year's Day, the dog needs to go outside. You just open up the side door, let him out, go do his business. He'll start scratching on the door when he needs to come back in. You can go back to bed for a little bit. But the point is that like it's so much more convenient. If you're in an apartment complex and it's New Year's Day and the dog has to go outside, you have to get up with the dog, put the leash on, go all the way outside and go take care of that. So there's definitely a lot more value, in my opinion, to building these duplexes versus trying to get into apartment complexes. A lot of times people, unless they're going to be an accredited investor to go in and put in 50,000, 100,000, $250,000 as an investor, as a general partner in an apartment complex, usually don't have the capacity to just start one on their own. Okay, so purchase range that aligns with lending and local rents, man. So what we're going to look at real quick here on the MLS is we're going to look at some data for rental property. So we're going to start over again here, criteria. Actually, we're going to go search quick rental. Where is it at? Rental, quick rental right here. Sold, and we're going to be looking within a quarter mile of the subject property that we're looking to buy. And we're just going to be, this is just 2 matches within a quarter mile. I'm going to go a little bit bigger, 5 matches. So let's look at the results. So let's look at some of the days on market. We're going to go, so the longest one is 142 days on market. Okay. Just think like I'm looking at this data and looking at this stuff, and I want to make an evaluation as to why it took 142 days. How long is that, guys? Like 4 or 5 months to rent a property. So let's take a look at it. Maybe it was ugly, maybe it was, trashy, but look at this. It doesn't look bad. Granite countertops, nice appliances, clean floors. I mean, it doesn't look bad. The fans aren't drooping. The fan blades aren't drooping. Looks like the carpet's brand new. Looks like it's been freshly painted. Looks updated. I don't see anything really particularly wrong for a rental. All the light bulbs are on. Flat doors, nothing crazy there, but like still it's not, it doesn't look like it's a dump. Maybe from the outside, they might have gained a little bit by painting the outside.
Could
Oh
be
man,
the
the back
area,
there.
maybe.
Say again?
Could it be the area?
It could possibly be the area. I'm going to pull up some crime heat maps here for you guys in a little bit, show you some websites. So let's see. So moving special, call the agent, 1550, and call the agent for details. So let's look. They started off at 1650 and eventually went down to 1550. It is a single family detached, which is kind of nice. $112 a square foot. It might be the area, T. You're probably right. But it is 142 days, which tells me that 1550 for that product probably was right where it needed to be. This one's active. It's been on the market for 94 days. When it has little asterisks like that, there's like some comments, and you'll see that sometimes they take them off the market and they put it. So we're looking at days on market for where we're going to be building ours, whether we're going to rent it out or we're going to sell it. And these are just rentals. This looks nice. Uh, Color scheme looks pretty decent. It's nothing, feels a little orangey, but it's nothing too crazy. Just a light fixture. You know, kind of a smaller, tighter kitchen, but the appliances, clean and functional, right? Clean and functional.
I think that's the other challenge I have. Curtis, I'm growing, so that's the other challenge as I grow. Um, like I'm listening to you, like it looks really nice, a little orangey, and I'm like, it looks dated. It looks, but that's different from what I would rent versus renting, like what I myself would pay to rent because of,
Yeah.
whatever,
You,
versus
you
a
and you're not the
property
client,
that's for
man.
renters.
Exactly. And we are not our own clients, man. I'll tell you that right now. Uh,
Yeah.
I've rented out properties for like, 1,200 bucks and people are just super excited to do it. People just are like, man, this is great. I can't believe you're doing it. They're super grateful for it. It doesn't have to be awesome. You want to say hi?
Hi.
All right, so let's go back over here. Let's look at the other one real quick. We are going to be, now we're going to go, I'm just going to jump to the lowest day on market one. Oh, this one's only 2 days that was on market, but it's active. So let me look at this one here, 409. Now, this is an actual sold comp. I'm sorry. So this is an actual sold comp. Look, this is new. Again, I'm going to do the exact same thing I did last time, guys. And I want you guys to get in the practice of doing this because I think you'll get some value out of it. Look at these appliances. I love them. Black, nothing crazy. Solid. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cabinets. And then whatever ones are on here. That's 10 cabinets. This thing is a little ugly. I love it. I actually love this. This is
Wow.
great. Look at
I thought you
this,
were gonna
man.
say it's nice. I was like, dang, what? Okay.
I mean, but what do you guys think about this front elevation?
Mm, mm.
This is the front. Like they put the meters on the front of the house.
Oh no, that's the front of the house?
I don't see any other pictures that show the back of the house.
Oh, that's bad. Well, I think it's bad.
That's the front of the house, guys.
No, it doesn't look appealing to me.
That's the front.
Oh,
Look at
geez.
this. Hold on a second. This rented for 12.50 for one side. $1.25 a square foot, which is very, very strong. 997 square feet. And it only took them, how many days did we say? To rent.
Is the 13 one the one
Yeah,
with 13
13
days?
days. Yeah, 13 days. But look, it's clean. It doesn't have any hardware. All the appliances are black. Boom, 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 boom. Basic, 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 basic countertops. Look at that. Nothing wrong with that, man. Look, these people know what they're doing. It's about efficiency. The numbers have to work. The numbers have to work. The numbers have to work. In 15 years, you guys think it's going to matter what it cost them to build it? Absolutely not. It won't matter. Tub inserts. Love it. Backyard. Massive. So, anyways, that's the type of stuff. So now I know. So for 997, $1.25 a square foot, if I'm going to be building something that's 1227, what is the numbers on that, guys? So 1227 or 1220 times $1.25. Let me do some quick math so I can show you real quick. And
1525.
so 1525,
Mm-hmm.
I would even probably go like 1475,
Mm.
1475, just to get that thing to move quickly. So now I'm beginning to build a picture of what the duplexes that I'm going to build 1475 per side because we don't want to get aggressive with the pricing because it never works out. It's never worked out for me. Maybe it works out for you guys, but go conservative on the price that you're going to be asking for the rental side, and that way you can get it occupied relatively quickly. So, all right. Let's see some of the stuff that rents fast in the market, right? We want to talk. We're talking about 2 and 3 bedrooms per unit. We want to have washer and dryer hookups inside the unit. That is a big foot stomper. Most people expect that. Now, in apartment complexes, they're nice to have, not mandatory. But if you're building a duplex where it feels kind of like a single family home, I would highly encourage you to ensure that you have them in your unit, even if you're, compacted in your area. If you make them stackable, even that's fine too. If you can do parking, 2 cars per side. So one of the things that we do is there's a minimum of 12 feet width for residential, but it has to be long enough so that, you can have 2 vehicles parking tandem, which means one vehicle in the front and one vehicle in the back. A pet-friendly layout, like I said, man, is just we want the side door or an exterior door that can be just quickly opened, that is secure compound for a pet to be able to go outside. And then, of course, close to transit and employment hubs. Now, we're all kind of like in the similar market. Jason, thanks for jumping in, man. But Jason, I was talking to him, and he's all the way out in California, totally different market out there, man. But look, one of the things that I like to do is get these pictures from the guy that does my photography for my both my rentals for sale or for rent. I ask him to do this every single time. So whenever you guys, are going to get your professional pictures, pay the extra 150, $200, however much they're going to charge you for the drone shots. Because now you're just helping yourself sell your unit faster. And these pictures you can use for the next 10, 15 years. If you need to update them, of course. But look, we have here in the middle, we have the subject property where it's at. There's banks, one bank, Woodforest Bank, and then we have Chase Bank over here. Grocery stores, we got HEB, we got Kroger, and then we have the fire department, we have the major highway shown, and then we got all these other, ancillary, fast food joints and stuff like that that are convenient to people, right? So we have some work, right? HEB. As a matter of fact, we have a Lowe's that's going to be getting built right in this little bald spot right there. And then it's going to be a gym chain that's also going to be going in. So that's bringing in more jobs here to Willis. So please stay away from Willis. Tunde. Just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. Got a Tractor Supply. So, anyways, I want to get that information out there. And then, of course, one of the other things that I also ask him to do, because see, look, whenever you ask them to do aerial drone shots, they'll do aerial drone shots, but you as the owner have to be able to explain to them like what you want, right? So I just say, hey, man, I need this type of data. He's like, okay, cool. I'll charge you this much for it. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Then we have this here as well. We have a park, elementary school, elementary school, middle school right here. We have a North Montgomery County Community Center right there, which is a big voting place. We have the post office. So these people are now looking at, convenience type stuff, and they're looking at stuff for their kids, right? So, we want to be able to get that data easily out to these people so that their decision to rent from us is that much easier. Okay. Now, we're going to go through this one real quick, and we've already looked at this one before, but this is the what not to do stuff that um, let's see here. Let's go to this website real quick. We've already looked at this stuff. This is the stuff not to do, and I don't want to beat a dead horse because we've already looked at this one. Tammy's the one who sent me this. If you're starting out your first duplex, I would highly encourage you to stay away from a 2-story, 2-car garage duplex. Okay. That is going to be very, very difficult. You have more siding, more sheetrock, more windows, more surface area to paint, more stuff to do. I would try to stay away from that stuff, man. I would try to tell you to stay consistent with the flooring throughout. If you really want to change up the floors, no more than like 2, maybe 3 types of flooring. And the reason why you would have 3 types of flooring is because you have one general flooring in the living areas, maybe a general flooring in the wet areas, like people like to do tile, like in the bathrooms, and then carpet. And that would be the max. But, unfortunately, this guy went with like, I think it's like 4 different types of flooring. You guys are going to see them here. There's one set of floor, and then we have this kind of flooring, and then there's this kind of flooring, and then there's something else. There's this kind of flooring, and it's just a bit much, man. It was too much. And then he did all this extra stuff here that was just over the top. In my opinion, it's going to be just very, very difficult for this gentleman to like really make his money back. And now he's at a point with this asking sales price. He's probably at pretty close to break even. And so it's going to be super challenging. Hey. All right. Sorry, my kids are just getting home a little early, but that's cool. All right. Uh, Look, he built it on a 5,200 square foot lot. I'm sorry. No, no, no. I'm sorry. That's a 5,200 square foot property size. That is massive on a 13,600 square foot lot. And he's been on the market for 144 days. If this guy doesn't figure out a way to refinance this thing or get out of it somehow, he is going to be in an unfortunate, very significant world of hurt. This is what I think that you should do. Jason, you were asking me actually, I know you're on there. You were asking me about like some of the stuff that we've done. These are some pictures of the ones that we've done in the past here recently, and we keep doing the same thing. So when I talk about a shotgun style duplex, what I mean is that you have one unit on one side, one unit on the other side, and that's it. Single story. This is what it looks like, and just make it decent, clean, functional. It doesn't have to be over the top. We have a lot of little things that we cut corners on. And I don't mean cut corners in a bad way, but like Amazon handles, like the handles that you get here from Amazon, they're not that expensive. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you try to buy these black matte handles, they're going to be a lot more expensive. The only thing that I get from Home Depot or Lowe's is going to be the plumbing fixtures. Even the mirrors are from Amazon. I mean, this stuff is not that crazy. This stuff here costs us $750 to make. It's not that expensive. So let me back out of this one. And we already looked at this one, so I'm going to skip it. This is the Booker T at the one that we were just looking at earlier. The reason why I like this one because it's a side by side duplex and it's very uh, and it's very. Let me see real quick. It's very just, all you do is have the party wall right down the middle. So if you can see right here on the right-hand side, it's very, very simple. Man, you see the trim around the entrance? Like that's just too much. It's overkill, in my opinion. I gotta mute this guy. All right. So red flags that you're not going to be able to see on Zillow or Redfin. Okay, these are some of the stuff. T, you were asking about some of the stuff, which is going to be, crime. This is a good website here, crimegrade.org. This is a good place where you guys can go to. We're going to punch in the Conroe zip code, which is 77301. Let's go ahead and do explore. Give me 1 second. All right, thanks, guys. So this heat map is actually very simple to read, man. And so all we're going to do is looking at the A plus is going to be the green, which is nice, right? What that means areas are the safest, and then the F, which is the redder, is going to be the more crime, the higher the crime. So, this is all we're going to be doing here. Looking at where we're going, we're probably going to be going in a C, D. Let's going to a D area for that South 12th Street property. It doesn't particularly bother me. I've built in, F areas in the past, but the situation with F areas, in my opinion, is that like you have a lot of older homes that need to be kind of just refurbished or just completely gutted down or just knocked down and started over. Okay. Uh, you know, One of the other things that I like to do is communicate with the police department. This is something else, and this is something that, if you know that you're going to be going into an area that's might be a little bit higher crime, I would highly encourage you to just stop by the local police department and say, "Hey, my name is Juan Cristales. I'm a local builder. We're going to be putting up a brand new construction duplex. I'm going to be putting up some cameras, but is there any way, as the owner, that I can, help out to kind of, avoid vandalism, avoid problems in the area?" And you know what, man, these guys are going to be super helpful. They'll actually have you fill out. So inside of the city limits of Houston, you fill out a form and you pay $50 to the city of Houston, and they will send police officers there on a pretty consistent basis just as part of their routes for $50, man. And inside the city limits of Conroe here, if they decide to, ask me for some money like that, I would happily pay that money. For $200 to have a police officer kind of patrolling the streets every day, every other day or something like that. These guys sometimes, especially during the day, they're going to be driving around, and it's just an ideal thing to do, in my opinion. To just a very smart thing to do is just to get the police to come out. Now, we have some areas here that are still inside the city limits that are not as red, and you're just looking around for that stuff. So that's one spot. This is another one here, community crime map. This one is on LexisNexis. So when you go to, you see how there's nothing here in the city of Willis. You can't even really see it. I don't know why it doesn't even show it. But if you go to Houston, it shows a lot more. So it looks like this LexisNexis information is going to be better suited for like larger cities. So now you can see all the crazy crime. Let's go into downtown Houston, see what we find. Motor vehicle theft, aggravated assault, commercial robbery, oof, aggravated assault. So you see how like you can see the stuff, right? And I'll tell you guys here inside of Hardy Yards. Let me find it for you here. You see this road right here is called Elysium. There's a road next to it. It's called Hardy Street. This area right here, this particular road right next to Elysian, you know how it splits up right here, has seen a tremendous amount of new construction, like townhouses, duplexes, like wall to wall. Just this whole little area right here on Quitman, all of this area has seen a lot of residential stuff go up. A lot of builders started going in there, and I'm telling you, if you have an opportunity like that in your area, you have the experience base with it. It's not a big leap if you understand the numbers and you already have the contacts on the contractors that you already know. So look at this. All the new construction started going up, and like there's less crime here in this little area. Isn't that crazy? Start getting some citizens in there that own in that area, and the crime just starts dissipating. This is another website. It's called Spot Crime as well, and it comes with advertisements. That's why they're free. But yeah, you can see here there's an assault of some sort here. I don't know what that is. Theft at Fraser Mart. Theft. Arrest, Outback Steakhouse. Somebody was drinking too much. Anyways, who knows? So these are three websites here: crimegray.org, communitycrimemap.com, and then spotcrime.com. Utility setup. We've talked about this a little bit more, but in the interest of just being thorough and making sure that other people who are just first time coming to this class, we want to buy lots that have no homeowners associations or not restricted to single family residential only. We want to be outside of that. So that's why I tell you guys we want to be inside the city limits, but not in an actual neighborhood. Because if you're inside of a neighborhood, those people were going to tell you that you cannot build a duplex. We want to verify not just with the city, but we also want to verify with the water company that we're going to be able to get 2 water meters, 2 sewer taps for the one lot. So the 2 lots that I was just showing you guys that I'm looking at in Conroe that we're under contract to buy, I'm asking for 4 water meters and 4 sewer taps from the city of Conroe. I filled out some paperwork for those guys, and they're like, okay, we'll just verify and confirm it. There are duplexes actually being built. They're not finished right now across the street. So I'm pretty comfortable and confident that they'll give it to me. But we want, even me, having done it and still going through the process of filling out the appropriate paperwork, because I do not want to get bit in the rear because I'm lazy or something like that happens and I get stuck with the lot I can't build anything on. We want to verify with the electric company as well that they're going to be able to give us 2 electric meters for one lot. Uh, if you guys are just starting out, I would definitely go through the process of emailing, calling, and visiting the city permitting office, which is something that I just did maybe about a week and a half ago whenever we did that, put that property into contract. I'm still doing it. And I know that you guys think it's like, well, after a while, you don't have to do that stuff. You still have to do it. Whether it's just a phone call to somebody in the city because they know you well. It's like, hey, look, I'm looking at this legal description, right? Because it's a vacant lot. Looking at this legal description property, and what can you tell me about it? Are there any restrictions? Can I build a duplex on it? The other thing that we want to take a look at is going to be the easements and flood zones. All right. We just looked at the FEMA flood map stuff, so I'm going to kind of skip over that. Super simple. FEMA, you can just do a Google search or go to this website, type in the address here that you want to look at. And then, let's see, let's go 309 East Phillips in Conroe. And it'll tell you if that property is inside of a flood zone area or not. So that one is not. Super awesome. We have I think it's like 9 lots there that we could possibly do something with. Surveyors for the easements. This is something that I think that a lot of new builders are not that don't quite understand just up front. And this is a big foot stomper for you guys that are starting out. When the surveyors first give you your boundary survey, and they're just doing like the corners of the lot, right? Sometimes they will just give you the corners of the lot, and you don't want them to do that. You want them to give you also any easements. And it's like asking people to like put periods of at the ends of sentences or something like that. Like, it's not that hard, right? Like that's what they do. That's their job, right? And so I will get a survey without any easements on it, and I'm just like, oh, for the love of Pete, people, can you put the easements on here for me? The building setback lines, all that stuff, that needs to be part of the process. So make sure that you get with the surveyor if they haven't done that. The reason why that's such an important part is because the architect or the person who's going to be doing the plans for you or the site plan has to know what boundaries he needs to be within, right? On the sides, on the front and the back. He needs to know that information, or she needs to know that information, so that they don't accidentally put a property where it does not belong. Okay. Let me show you a very, very quick example of what I am talking about here, real quick. Let's see. I thought I had this one pulled up, but it's the exact same thing. Does anybody have any questions up to this point on some of the stuff we've been talking about? All right. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see that. Can you guys see that or no?
I
My
don't see
thumb was
anything.
in slow motion, but yeah, I can see it.
Yes? All right.
The links, right?
No, 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 no. The survey map.
Oh, no, I didn't see the survey map.
All right. What about now?
No.
Still see links. Links only.
What
Now,
about now? All right.
yeah.
So on this particular survey, you can see right here it says 5BL. That's a 5-foot building line. Now, this particular lot is very big, but if this lot was smaller, we need to know that we can't build inside of that line. And then in the front here, you see the 25, the little dash there is a symbol for feet. If you have the colon, the 2 1, that's for inches. So this is 25 feet building line. So that means that we have to have from the front to where the structure can begin, we have to be 25 feet past it, because this is no, we can't build inside of that. So we need to know this information. The architect needs to know this information. As you as the builder need to know the information. We have a 5-foot building line on the left side, and then on the very back, it's a 5-foot building line as well. Some of the other ones that we have on MLK Street T, those ones are 10 feet in the back. Believe it or not, it's kind of weird, right? This lot is way bigger and has smaller boundaries on the back. So that's what I mean by showing on the survey where the easements are. Okay, that's what I mean by that. Let me go back to where we were. Are we there? All right. So that's what I mean by easements and flood zones. All right. Next, owner occupancy restrictions and zoning. I'm going to show you guys really, really quickly the map for the city of Willis for zoning. You have to find your particular map zoning for your town so that you can see it. It's very, very simple to read. So if you look here on the legend on the right-hand side, it's just basically showing you guys the red is going to be general commercial. The gray is going to be commercial industrial, R1, R2. The R2 one here designated for built manufactured home residential. And then, those are the ones that we're looking at, the R1 and the R2. Can we do that? Now, sometimes, and as you can see, this is an actual PDF that the city of Willis has put together. You have to call them up and confirm and verify, hey, how up to date is this particular map? They try to do their best to like keep these maps up to date so they can help out the local populace, especially if you're a builder. But sometimes, there's going to be changes that don't get updated, right away. It could take them months and months to get that stuff done. So you can always call them up and double check. So next thing is we're going to be looking at is going to be a school district reputation. So that's very, very simple. All we did was do a Google search, school district reputation scores for your city and state. And then basically, we go here to this particular website. We're going to put in, Conroe, because that's what we're going to be building, Conroe, Texas here. And then basically, it looks like we have a bunch of B's and C's, which is actually pretty solid, man. I like it. It looks like we got a D right there, but for the most part, it's primarily B's and C's for school districts. So, if you have a school district or an area where it's nothing but D's and F's and stuff like that, you can actually get an F rating as a school, believe it or not. But probably it's going to be a little bit more challenging to rent in those areas unless your rent rate is going to be significantly lower. So let me bring it together for you guys. From what we started here, the location plus the product plus the price minus any crazy red flags is basically going to be your buy box. That's kind of like in your area. You want to begin to narrow down the zip code of where you're going to build, okay? Because like what some of you guys are doing is like you're just looking at stuff. You haven't like clearly articulated the zip codes. I know that I have two zip codes. I have 77378, which is Willis, and 77301, which is in Conroe. I know that those are my zip codes. I know them and I study them. And when I say study, I don't sit there and like, I'm going to study the zip code. No, but because every single time I look at a property, I'm looking at a property inside of just those two zip codes. It's easy for me to recall the information. I don't have to go back in and recall the school situation. I have to go back in and recall, some of the flood zone situations. Sometimes, T, when you sent me stuff, I know like, pretty sure that's in the flood zone. The first thing I go to, right? But that's part of the studying portion. So you guys need to come up with whatever your location is going to be, for sure, one or two zip codes, and just focus on those ones only. Once you figured it out, like I keep telling you, try to start off with a single story, very simple, about 2,400 or smaller duplex size. We want to spend $50,000 or less. And right now that the market is kind of a little compressed, we want to spend a little bit less, $40,000 or less on some of these lots, 40, 45. I know you're right there close, T. And then any red flags, right? Red flags are going to be crime, flood maps, really bad schools. Those are the things that are going to be red flags that you're just like, oh, I don't know, maybe I should get a cheaper price on the actual lot itself, right? So here's what I want you guys to do. Go write out your one sentence buy box, and I want you to post it on the school community. And I just want you to kind of think about the zip codes, think about what you want to do, what you're looking to do, because once you identify it, it'll be easier for you to kind of, understand. Somebody sent me a picture of a bike earlier today. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on with that bike? They're like, I don't know. Do you want it? I was like, yes, I've been looking for a bike for a long time, but that's because I've been looking for a specific bike to ride, like a pedal bicycle, for a while. But it's because it's been there and been in the back of my head and I know it. Some of us, when we don't identify it, it's kind of hard. Like we look at everything. We don't want to look at everything. We want to be very targeted and specific. All right, so we're going to open it up here real quick for a few questions. Here's a preview for next week. We're going to be talking about project feasibility. We're going to start going into some of the numbers, land, soft cost, plus building it, how much that's going to be for all in. We'll be looking at rental comps a little bit more. And basically, now I'm going to get into the debt service coverage ratio stuff, guardrails. I was already a landlord and already an owner probably for like 5 years or more before I finally understood what DSCR means. And I think that someone did me a disservice by not helping me with that. I know, right? That's crazy. But we have to learn and understand what debt service coverage ratio means, how it fits into the construct of what we're trying to do. And then we'll talk about the sensitivity of like what happens if rates go up or down and how much it costs and stuff like what it costs us to move. So I'll open it up for questions, see what you guys got, and Let's go. Let's hear it.
I don't really have a question, or maybe I do. It's kind of a question. I thought I found the lot that was gonna work.
Okay.
Because it fit all of the by the price and everything, except it doesn't have water access.
Huh.
And it's kind of on a dirt road. Um,
How
the
close are the
water,
neighbors?
what's that?
How close are the neighbors?
Well, it's actually in the city of Houston, but it's kind of, it looks like it's kind of rural. It's on a dirt road. There's like a 3-story townhouse right across from it. They're on septic and well. So no, it would have to be septic and well. The access to water, public water is 300 feet, 300 feet away. So I've been getting quotes to see how much all of this would cost. It's partially cleared. They want to sell both because one of the lots is landlocked. The other one next to it is pretty clear. Um, but I thought I would just do one, just
How,
do one at a time, just because it was the price was right.
how
But
much are
then
they
when I
asking for
started
it?
looking at the septic and well, I talked to someone today. He told me just for the septic could be around 9,500. And then the well, he said 10,000. So that's already almost 20,000. So I would need to be at about 35, 40.
How much are they asking for the
I
lot?
can get it for 40, I'm sure. Um, they wanted me to buy both for 85.
So here's what I'll tell you about septic systems and what they do here in Montgomery County. Montgomery County will not give you a permit to put in a new septic system and tie in two separate units to it. They want you to have two septic systems, two independent septic systems. So, because it's a little bit out in the rural area, um, I'm sorry, Harris County permits. There's a Harris County permitting office. I've been to it. It's over in the northwest. I think it's off of like 290 in the Beltway. But they have an office out there, or you can just probably call them or email somebody over there and ask them what their requirements are going to be for septic if you're trying to build a duplex. And you can give them the legal description; they'll be able to answer it for you. But if you have time, I mean, I've gone over there, and just tell them you're going to pull permits for this thing, and they're going to be able to explain it to you a little bit better. In duplexes, the challenge that we always have is going to be the wastewater, bar none. That's every you know hard stop that I've always had has been um, because of the wastewater. They're either the county will not allow me to do a duplex for one system, or they'll require me to do two systems, which is going to make right. It's going to now instead of costing you 9,500 for for one septic, is going to now cost you $19,000 for two separate septic systems, right? And that might end up making the whole deal cost prohibitive unless you can get the land for significantly cheaper.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah. And then the well, um, I would try to do my best to just figure out a way. I think in the long run, it's cheaper to run 300 lines of clean water, 300 feet of clean water access than trying to build a well because you have to have separation. So just real quick, just kind of like the well, it takes water from the ground, right? But the septic system puts out all the wastewater from the house into the same land. So what you have to have is you have to have separation. There's some sort of a rule book that tells you like if you're going to have a well and a septic system, you have to have so much separation because otherwise what you do is you contaminate the drinking water with the wastewater. And so if you don't have enough land to be able to do the separation, they won't let you do two septic systems with one well, or just they won't let you do one or the other. So you're required and forced to get clean water from some other source. So if you know that you're probably going to need two septics, I would probably just figure out a way to get 300 feet of line run for clean water and have
Okay.
enough
He
water
did
pressure.
say it would probably have to be one would have to be large enough for both. And instead of not the 9,500, it could be 16,000.
Okay. Yeah. It just calculated into the price, into the price of the purchase of the lot.
Okay, so it's not a hard no,
No,
okay,
it's not. As long as it gets permitted, it should be fine.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. What else? What you guys got? Tunde, what's going on, man? What you got?
I'm doing good. I think that's one of the problems I'm running into here too. Most of the lands that I'm finding, especially the cheap ones, are kind of they don't have sewage system. That's the challenge I'm running into in Terra
Ok,
actually.
but there's a difference between not having a sewer tap than like not having access to it.
The access to it is a bit it's more of like a countryside, but it's closer to Terrell, and the lands over there are very cheap.
Okay, so
It's not within the city limits.
yeah.
So to get the sewage system tap, it's just very difficult.
Yeah, man, that's why I tell you guys to just look, if you're gonna pay $10,000 for a septic system, or like, Candace was just saying, $16,000 to be able to do two septic systems, like, or two units into one system, then just increase the cost of what it's gonna cost you to buy a lot inside the city limits, so you can avoid that. Septic systems are just another system of maintenance, like the air conditioning system, the plumbing
Mhm.
system is just a whole nother thing to maintain as a landlord. That's just, I have some rental houses that have septic system, and it annoys me because it rains and it pours down, and you have like, thunderstorms, and the thing trips off, and then they're calling me, is like, hey man, this thing's like alarm going off. I'm just like, oh, it's annoying.
Uh,
So I would try my best to stay away from it, or build them, Candace, and sell them. But yeah, man, you have to go in the city limits, man. I'm telling you.
That's the plan. I definitely want to sell, at least the first one anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So Tunde, find your land inside the city limits if you can, man.
yeah, still working on it.
Okay. Tammy, what you got, man?
Nothing.
What's the what's the update on your lot? You got did they accept your offer? What happened? So
So
we have
she has accepted it. She came back, which anyway, working full time and like trying to follow up with her. Like she changed something that, like, let's say it was not applicable, that had to do with the seller is aware of something something. After three updates to this DocuSign stuff, she came back and was like, I just made one more minor adjustment. So I have to do that tonight and send
that's
it to
nuts.
her. And then I let Kayla know it's coming. She followed up to say, hey, how's it going? Um, so yeah, she said we're gonna move forward. I let her know I talked to title. Are you sure we're moving forward? She said yes. So that's where we are. And then in parallel, I've emailed the friends or a family for the private lending. So remember, I sent out the partner opportunity. So I just followed up and said, hey, here's an update. Here's where I am.
Yeah,
I'm moving forward as if my gap has already been filled. I'm
yeah.
going to continue to process as if I'm already funded, blah, blah, blah. So that was today.
Awesome. That's
I
exciting.
am irritated, but that's okay. By the way, y'all, Juan has not just been my mentor, he's been like my therapist for a week. My real
Stop.
estate therapist.
Congratulations.
Yeah, real
On
estate
therapy,
therapist.
thanks, Candace.
No.
It's been kicking my butt. But
I
anyway,
think
good
she
to hear
means,
one. You got the two properties, the 37K ones?
yeah,
Dang.
yeah,
He just told me about it 2 days ago, maybe three.
yeah. No, man, it was a fluke, man. No, nobody wanted to jump on that thing. I don't know why, but whatever. But I think Candace was saying congratulations on your lot, not
Oh,
congratulations on your therapy.
thank you, Candace.
All right, guys. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close it up. If you guys got anything else, remember, go into the school community, put in your one statement on what it is that you're gonna be looking at to buy for yourselves. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you. I will talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks. Have a
Thank
good night,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.